Okay. Um, I'm gonna tell teacher about psychology and music. Introduction. Although it is true that psychology is a science that deals with the study of behavior, we must consider that human behavior is very broad and diverse. Thus, we have that in its different specialities. It refers to very diverse aspects. The psychology of music is one of the specialties of psychology that began at the beginning of the 20th century. Since then, it has been evolving in its methods and object of study. To understand the emotional force that music exerts on people both in adulthood and during childhood and adolescence, it is convenient to clarify the concept of the discipline that deals with this field of knowledge, the psychology of music. Although it is true that psychology is a science that deals with the study of behavior, we must consider that human behavior is very broad and diverse. Thus, we have that its different specialty it refers to very diverse aspects, focusing the object of its study on fields as heterogeneous as social psychology, psychology of education, mass psychology, clinical psychology, experimental psychology, psychology, psychobiology, to name others. The psychology of music is one of the specialty of psychology that began at the beginning of the 20th century. Since then, it has been evolving in its methods and object of study. We can distinguish some of the research fields taking into account that they are not exclusive, those that propose psychology, sociological, and psychobiological base, which consider the beneficial effect of music on a wide variety of manifestation of personality, behavior, and various disorders. Others prefer to use more global approach such as social conditions, musical taste, influence, or music, musical feeling, etc. There are those who focus their interest and research on the basis of different cognitive and developmental theories. Also those who deal with measuring the elements of music encompassing what we can call psychometric orientation. Those with a behavioral tendency than by their nature deal with the study of learning and musical behavior based on strategic principles and techniques of reinforcement of rewards. Okay, I'm sorry, teacher. He study of musical behavior as as to observe from the outside that the individual includes a biological dimension, another psychological, emotional dimension, and their insertion in an environment or social environment. Therefore, he must contemplate the influence that music represents in his totality for the body, mind, emotion, and spirit, and how this individual relates to nature and the social environment. The social psychology of music study musical behavior and its relationship with the cultural and social context. Noteworthy in this field in the work the social psychology of music, where cultural influence on musical behavior are discussed and the personality of the music is described. However, we must take into account the current theories of psychology question the content of this work. Social psychologists have established that judgments made of an individual musician are often made according to a social group. Finally, point out the lines of research of the application of music in daily life. The interaction is teaching between teacher and student, the role of music in health therapies, and the commercial use of music. Psychophysiological and psychobiological base. Our brain is the organ that analyzes perception. It was developed over millions of years of biological evolution until it came to reflect and model perceptual process. In order to better adapt them, it has a correct perception of the outside world with great precision, which allows us to adapt. If it didn't don't reflect the outside world correctly, we will not be able to model it or interpretation of world. What we see or hear is visual or aura image, which depends on the ability of your brain to process a certain amount of information. Music is sound, sound is vibration, vibration is energy that is transmitted in the form of waves that reach out here and from into the brain. They can be a different nature, pleasant, unpleasant, exciting, reassuring, etc. In short, they transmit a message that can be more or less significant depending on various factors, as we'll see later. Emotional intelligence and musical behavior. Let's start from the assumption the musical behavior gives us satisfaction, happiness. Music stimulates the brain centers, the move emotion of following a path of interiorization. It can encourage us to express or drive our musical feeling or allow ourselves to be invaded by the aesthetic fullness that makes us happy. By contemplating the psychology of music from the conceptual framework of feelings of emotion, we are saying that we consider the person as a whole in a holistic way, a body and mind, emotion and spirit. It is inserted in a natural environment and surrounded by other beings and people on who influence and it turn is influenced in a more or less decided way. Thank you, teacher, for all, and good evening.